Mit Tamara Güçlü. Die Ein-Frau-Crew am Nachmittag.
This time we will be talking to someone in English, so you have to switch from German to English in your head right now, because this is going to be a little bit different than sometimes before. We have an international guest, a very young one who's called Token from the US in our studio today, so welcome to you.
We're gonna be, I love the intro. I would speak German if I could. I didn't mean to make it hard for the people, but...
Do you, have you learned one word so far, anything, since you came here?
Pardon is pardon, right? I say that a lot.
Yeah, but it's very similar, right? It's easy to remember.
That's it, though.
Okay, there's
that's it.
Danke, which means thank you.
Dank.
So,
oh, I remember that, because it sounds like an insult. It sounds like, oh, look at that Danke over there. It sounds insulting.
German sounds insulting in general. That's the problem. That's the problem. It does. We don't have a nice language like, I don't know, Spanish, French, or English, but yeah. So it's very, very, for me, a very cool opportunity to see you here, because I've checked out your music a half a year ago, and I was very surprised and overwhelmed with the quality of your technical style and everything you've just achieved with 19 years right now.
19, yeah, just turned 19.
How did this happen? How can you be so good and so technically on such a high level already when you're 19? When did you start?
I mean, I started writing when I was 6. I started recording when I was 10. And this is just the product of writing and recording every single day, just constant, and having, really love doing it. I started to do this for me. It wasn't really for anybody else. And it's a passion, so I love doing it, and that's why it wasn't hard for me to work hard and keep growing through it. So it's just a product of all that.
When did you get introduced to rap music, or was there an artist that was an inspiration?
I've been listening to hip-hop for my whole life. I don't remember a time. I can't think back to a time not listening to hip-hop. My sister just put me on super early. The first 3 artists that were super inspirational to me were Tupac, Eminem, and Ludacris. Those were my 3 favorites.
And did you ever think of the widespread, how to say, the reach that you would get when you started it? Was this always an intention, I want to be a rapper? Or was it just okay, I'm good at writing and I'm good at spitting verses in my little room at home, but I don't want to be a rapper? Was this...
No, it wasn't. It was there were steps. When I started, I wasn't I want to be a rapper. I was just kind of doing it. I was young. I wasn't thinking of a reward or anything like that. When I was 10 and I started recording, I really fell in love with it. And right when I saw, I started releasing it on the internet, and I saw, the first person say, oh, I like this, it was decided. It was something that I love so much can be liked by somebody else. That's what I'm doing for the rest of my life. It wasn't even no second thought, no plan B after that.
How quick did you decide on your style, or the way it should sound, and also from who or from where did you get the beats to make it sound like it does now?
Yeah. Well, early on, it was kind of a thought that I had that because I was so young, I was, 14 when I started. Well, I was 13 when I started releasing videos, but 14 is when people, at first people started noticing, and I didn't look like I could rap. I was this little white kid.
It's the Eminem factor, I guess.
So I made a decision that I was just going to prove myself on a technical level and a lyrical level, just the technical aspect of it. So any question of can this kid rap can just be thrown out the window. And I built all that up into the point where now I feel like I can do whatever I want to do creatively and not be not create just to prove somebody wrong, create really what my heart tells me to.
You have in the last, I think, 12 months met already like some of the most like on platforms, on radio platforms, you have met Sway Colloway and also now Tim Westwood.
Tim Westwood, yeah.
How did this happen, and how was it like to perform or like to be in their studios?
Oh, crazy. Like I'm still that kid, like recording out of his bedroom, and I still have that little kid inside me where it's like, oh my God, that's Sway. Oh my God, that's Tim. I just did Tim. I did Sway, and it's crazy. Because I'm new to it. I'm not jaded to any of it. So it's like, damn, like he's in front of me, like some real like dream shit.
Of course.
And then when the Sway thing and the Sway was. My freestyle on Sway was such a big moment in my career too.
That was insane, actually. If you haven't seen it, like for those who are listening, it's really something worth the while. It's 7 minutes long almost, and I was like, okay, wow. When do you lose your breath? At some point, you should lose your breath because it's such an intense situation, and you made it through so well.
Thank you.
Yeah. That happened a year ago or something.
That happened. No, I think a little bit more than a year. I think it was maybe like 2 years, maybe 2 years. It was
April 16, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I wrote it down somewhere.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
No, but it was really really impressive. How long did you prepare for that freestyle?
Probably like
your whole life.
My whole life, basically. But no. A couple weeks or a few weeks going back and forth for like just rewriting. I originally had so much more material, but I had to cut it down because it was just like too much because other people were rapping too. But I would say like a few weeks.
How easy is it to get into the situation where you feel comfortable just rhyming and spitting and like having a beat and then it's just going? Like how easy is it for you?
Like now,
like in general, like when you're in situations where people like tell you, like, can you do something?
My whole thing is preparing for it.
Yeah,
you know, and I prepare for like pretty much everything if I'm told about it and if I think it's worth doing. And when I'm in it, like when I begin, it's kind of just like. I lose myself. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to prepare for it so I can just let the energy like happen rather than focus so much on like, oh, I don't want to mess up this line. Like if I prepare enough, then I don't have to worry about that.
But it was perfectly like executed. It was really insane. I think, you should check it out. Okay, enough promotion of that one. What else, like, I caught my attention was the quality of your videos. Like, I think you really put enough or like a lot of energy into creating those videos. Also, like, acting in it. How did the ideas of several videos came up? Like, for example, for Doozy or Exception, I think.
Exception, yeah. I love making videos. I've been making videos ever since I was 13, and I've just always loved it. Like, I loved being the artist in it and then directing it as well and seeing, like, from both sides of it. I used to do a lot of acting, too, before I took music, like, all the way serious. So I like acting in them when I get the chance to. And I don't know, I just come up with, like, Doozy was literally a dream I had. Like, I fell asleep, and I had that dream. And I was like, I want to make this into a video. And I had the song, and I just made it into a video. So they come in different ways.
And you played yourself in so many different situations, right? It was really interesting, the different perspectives. And
the videos are
roles.
The videos are a big thing for me. Like, I think, and I just love when like artists have like sick videos. Like, I grew up watching the Busta Rhymes videos and the Eminem videos and the Ludacris videos. Like, those are what inspire me.
It's really good. Like, the quality of that is really like on a level where it doesn't seem like someone is just recording something out of nowhere. I guess it would be fine too, like when you're young, that you don't have like the energy or the money to make it look that cinematographical, but it really does. So it's
that's
already on a very high level.
Yeah, that's why a lot of them don't even. I try to like mix it looking crazy, but it looking also very simple. Like, Doozy is crazy, but it's also very simple. Like, I'm just walking down the street, but then it gets to this whole other world. And I like that because it still has the feel when I was like 13 and I didn't have like anything. Like I just found a dude with a camera and I like was like, we should be friends. And then I was like, you should film a video. And I just try to make it as crazy as possible just with one camera and like me editing it.
Yeah.
So I still like it to have that like underground feel, but have this other side that's like super in-depth and super crazy.
For all those who don't know the song, we have it here, so we're gonna listen to Doozy right now. So check out what it is about, and maybe you can just go on YouTube right away and then check out the video too. So
yes, you should.
G-Unit mit Tamara Güçlü. Die Ein-Frau-Crew am Nachmittag.
Token is here in my studio today at G-Unit with the international special edition with English speaking and
I hope they can understand me. What do you think the percentages of people who understand me?
I think pretty high. In Germany, the people in school get taught so early to speak English that I don't know one single person in my whole circle of friends who can't speak English.
So I'm going to start talking really fast to see if they really understand everything I'm saying.
I guess that would be like the next level.
I'm going to put them to the test.
If we're going to do it like that, I will be the one who probably sits here like, okay, what the fuck? I'm just going to sit here and ask random questions now and maybe I will end up having an answer. But but I guess a lot of people understand you, so we can...
Great.
Be easy on that. We just talked about the videos you did, like for example Doozy, but what also like caught the attention, like, or what I found interesting is like the topics that you're dealing with in your songs. And there's depression and the pursuit of happiness in the song called Happiness. Or like high school bullying in Exception. How much do these topics relate to stuff you have experienced in your own life?
All of them. I don't really rap about anything that I haven't personally gone through or personally like closely have seen, because then it's just not authentic. Like those songs really come from like a place of like happiness. I went through, like I talk about it, like I went through all that shit. My whole family has gone through all that shit. And Exception, like I've literally seen every single thing that I put in that song or in the videos in real life, except for like the ending, obviously. But yeah, it always comes from a place of authenticity.
How do like the people you've been with in school and maybe also were part of like being the aggressors and not the nice people, like how do you know about like how they see you right now? Have you get their reaction to it, or did anyone say something like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for everything I've done"?
And it wasn't like me being bullied. That wasn't even what it was about. It was like, and I don't think it would have. Big point of the song is that the aggressors don't even know they're the aggressors when they're just kids and they don't know where to get attention from. So they kind of do it playing around, but then playing around can be perceived in different ways. So, I mean, there's no one in school that's like, yeah, I used to bully Token. Like, that's not even what it was about. It was more about me being a bystander and a lot of other people being a bystander and not even realizing it. I don't think people like, oh, that song is about me, because they don't even realize. I get inspiration from so many different places too that people often don't even think that it's about them. They're like, oh, that can't be about me, because they look at me like I'm in a different place now. So it's like, oh, he's in a different world now. But it's like that's where I get my inspiration from.
But I think it also inspires others, because I read some of the YouTube comments. Of course, I didn't read every YouTube comment because I would have took probably 2 days, but under like one was interesting because it was a father of a child, or like a cousin from him who was bullied and who always wanted to do something creative with his life, and he said like seeing you perform that song and knowing that you're so young and also like doing what you want to do and talking about these matters inspired this kid to believe in itself. And I think these are the stories that like really, make a difference to when you probably would feel very proud to be the one who gives this inspiration to others.
That's really what it comes down to me, like doing it for too, that, all my songs might not talk about like, oh, guys, you got to do this to be successful, do this, you got to work hard. But the underlying like topic through everything is trying to like say to people that you can really do anything you put your mind to, no matter your age, no matter how you look, no matter anything. So those kind of comments of people being inspired is like the things that make me the most happy, and realize like I'm not only doing this for myself, it's for other people too.
Do you have like a perspective in your mind, like where this should go into? Like, where do you see yourself in a place? Like, now you're touring, now you're in the US. We have to talk about the tour. Don't want to forget about that. I have so much stuff on this, but it's also a crazily not organized mind map. Yeah, like, did you think of like what's next ahead of you?
You know, small things, but not overall, really. I don't get wrapped up too much in like what could happen and what I focus on the now, and I focus on, you know, putting the work in now, and there's so many routes to go, and as long as I just keep working hard and stay true and know what my intentions are and everything, I know I'm going to be going in the right direction. I don't have like, when people, I hate the question like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because I don't.
You never.
I don't even think about that.
No.
I just, because, you know, if you asked me when I was younger, like 13 or like where would I wouldn't even picture myself here.
Yeah.
It makes sense now that I am here.
But you can't imagine it to happen the way it does.
Yeah, it's life. So it's like, I just focus on the now, really.
That's a good how to say, attitude. Yeah, I guess. No, it's just like, if sometimes, like, I don't know, I just talked to a German rapper who, of course, he's like 42, and he was one of the first rappers in Germany who started rapping in German like in the end of 80s, in the beginning of 90s. His name is Sammy Deluxe, and he said like the only thing he ever wished for was to get an MTV Unplugged, and everything else just happened. Like, nothing else was planned out, and he didn't picture himself in any situation that ended up him being in this situation, but that was like his one big dream. And next year, with 43, he will have his first MTV Unplugged as one of the first rappers in Germany. So this is something like, you know, in a perspective, are there crazy stuff? Like, is there, like, I don't know, I just saw the Grammy nominations, and I saw tweets on Noisy where people brought out tweets from artists who are nominated for the first time now, and they tweeted 4 years ago, somebody please give me a Grammy, lol. And I'm like, well, there you have it, maybe. Those kind of crazy things in your head.
I don't really, the only thing I know that I want to do is I want my mom to be living in a house with a tennis court, because she loves tennis.
That is really sweet.
That's like the only like literal thing I can really think of.
But that's like the most beautiful thing one could think of, because it's completely apart from, maybe you play tennis yourself, but it's pretty selfless. Like, you know, it's for your mom. So it's probably, if she hears that, I'll give her my recommendations of how great she raised her son. No, that's cool. That's a cool way to think of something beautiful to come up from your life. We have another song actually here. It's called Happiness. We talked about happiness before. Like, it's about the pursuit of something in your life that it's hard to get, probably. If you want to say something about it, you can do it now, or just say, we're going to listen to it right away.
All right. We are now going to listen to Happiness by Token. Boom!
G-Unit mit Tamara, Güçlü. Die Ein-Frau-Crew am Nachmittag.
We're in the G-Unit with me on the microphone. Tamara is my name, and our guest is Token today, a 19 years old, a boy from Massachusetts in the US who just is on his first European tour ever. So we have to talk about the tour, of course, because tonight you're going to play in Berlin. Have you ever been outside the US, like in Europe before?
Oh yeah, so this is my first like doing it on my own, my headline tour.
Yeah.
But I've toured. I did a little tour in Europe with Hobson.
Yeah. Oh
with,
yeah.
With
true.
Hobson, yeah. So I've been to Germany with him, and then I did the Splash Festival in Germany earlier this year. But that was the only times I've been in Germany.
Was this the a picture with Post Malone in the background with Splash Festival.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I know this. Where do I know that from? But yeah, I mean, I've been to Splash before, so I was like, okay, this is this iconical industrial roughness in the background. Yeah,
super cool. Yeah,
yeah, it is. How did you like the whole atmosphere and also being in Europe so far?
It was on the Splash and now.
Yeah, both. Like, just start.
I
with
love
Splash.
Europe. I love Europe. Europe, and like, kind of embraced me before the U.S. even did. Like, I was getting a lot of love here before I even got love from the U.S. So the energy is always real good. It's always a lot of people at the shows that have been rocking with me for like a good amount of time, like ever since I was young. So they've seen like the step by step, and they're just so into it. So it's really cool. And I wish I had like more time to like appreciate the areas, because I'm just like one after another show, and it's just like venue, sleep, plane, venue, sleep, plane. Like it's the same stuff, but hopefully like next time I'll get more time to like
Days
walk
off.
around.
Yeah. You should. It's so like Berlin, of course it's winter, but I mean you're probably used to a worse winter than we have it here.
Yeah.
But it's still like a great city, as well as London and Paris and all whatever there is in Europe to see, but I hope you will get time to explore
for sure.
it. If you're 19 and you're in Berlin, there are like lots of better places to be than a radio studio. I can tell you. But yeah,
I'll be back.
Sorry for you that you have to be.
It's all good. I'll be back.
What about like wait, I have to this is like when you can't read your own. This is what happens to me every time. Wait. Oh yeah, we talked about the acting part in the videos, but I also saw that, or like read about that you met Mark Wahlberg and also played in a movie that he brought out. How did this encounter happen between you and the actor Mark Wahlberg?
Mark he reached out. He was just a fan of the music, and early on, like real early on, when I was 17, and he had us come out to his house in LA, and we just like started our friendship there, and he's given me a lot of advice, and he's just been super supportive. And then that role came about that I was at his house once, and we were just talking about how I used to act, and he was just like, you should do it, you should just try out for this, see if they like you. And I was like, okay. And he gave me the script. I had to go back to Mass, but I tried it out, and I read the lines in Mass, and they picked me for it.
It's crazy. And also like Mark Wahlberg. Like, could be someone else, of course, but it's insane that someone.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those things where it's like when he's just like in front of me, it's just like I don't see him as like the character.
It changes probably.
Yeah, and then I see him like on the commercial team, and I'm like, it's so weird. It's just so weird.
I've been to his house. I know what kind of cereal he has there.
You've been to his house, really?
No, you.
Oh. I was like, oh my God.
I am far
that was
away
like
from
a weird. That'd be like a really weird connection we have. We've both been to Mark's house. Yeah.
I wish, but I haven't run into him so far. He's not often in Berlin, and when he's always surrounded by huge bodyguards, and it's hard to talk about cereals and households when he's around here.
No, he hates cereal.
Okay, good to know. I'll just write that down quickly for my next small talk conversation with my good old friend Mark. But also Fred Durstcourt, got to hear your music.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? Did he contact?
Fred actually gave Mark my number.
It's all connected.
Yeah, Fred reached out a little before Mark and just emailed me, like found my personal email. I don't even know how he found it, but he's just saying like, I didn't think it was him at first, but just saying he's a fan and like whatever you want to do, like he's just a fan. So I called him and we just stayed in touch, and he's super cool dude, and he ended up giving Mark my number, so I'm forever grateful to that dude.
Do you get shy when you meet those kind of people, like in a way where you feel like, okay, although I'm so skilled and I'm so like literally on a level where I express myself on a maybe higher level than people in my age normally do, but in this moment you're still like in front of someone. I don't know.
Yeah,
does it get you starstruck?
It definitely depends on the person, and it depends on, like, now I feel like I don't really get like that. Back then, I definitely was nervous, like meeting Mark and meeting Fred for sure. Now it's a little different, just because I understand things in a different level. It's like when you look up to things that are so high, you're like, I can't even imagine what that's like. But then when you're in certain things, you're like, oh, I see how this works. Like I know how to operate around here. So I can relate a little more, not to someone like Mark, because Mark is, the top. But I can just, the same things get repeated at like a level of mine and say like, just a level that's a little higher. It's just more of them. So it's like similar energies, and it's cool because it's cool to meet someone who's in a similar place because you can get advice and they can relate, and it's hard for a lot of people try to understand, and at the end of the day you can't really truly understand how something feels if you're not like going through it, and not that many people have gone through it. So it's kind of refreshing to talk to somebody who has.
Who knows? Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, it's always like, I just talked about my colleague, like 10 years ago, I was 19. So I was just thinking back to what I did when I was 19. I was just out of school and I flew to Australia, and I was super nervous to fly to Australia. I didn't have to play a show there.
Yeah.
No one was waiting for me, like getting me on an interview or anything, and I was already fucking nervous.
Yeah.
So it must be pretty like a pretty weird and new experience to be in this spotlight. But
yeah, it's interesting. It's new, and it's interesting growing up through it too, because it's like you already are changing when you're growing up. Like you were just nervous naturally because you were just 19 and you were going to Australia. So it's like an interesting thing growing up at this, and then with like people looking at you in different ways. It's just like, it just takes a lot of, in my experience, like I just try to take a lot of time to like really digest it and like think of, okay, how are these people looking at me? Like, how am I perceived by this group of people? And just know what really matters above anything else, because you can get wrapped up in the shit so easily, and knowing what like your core values are and what is the most important is what keeps you like sane.
And
I think.
I guess it's probably family and friends.
For sure. Yeah.
Are they like proud of what you're like how far you've come already?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. My parents are super proud. My friends are proud too. It's my friends. It's a little. I mean, and my parents. It's a little different because I don't. When you talk to me, it's not like I don't talk like I'm famous. Like I don't. When I'm home, it's like I'm doing the same shit that I used to do. Like, oh, let's go to a movie. Like, So they don't really. I literally.
They don't see the difference.
Yeah. I actually got a text yesterday that like I just did this. I did this interview thing that one of my friends is like a huge fan of like the person who or the group. And he was like, it just doesn't sink in my mind when it happens. Because, like, it would sink in if I was, like, at home and I was like, yeah, pass me water, like, go get me food. But, like, I don't act like that. Like, it's just normal. It's just normal shit. So, yeah, it's like, it's good. And I got the same friends, too. Same friends that I had, like, not super early on, because you just naturally grow out of friends.
Yeah.
But the friends I had, like, right before I left school, that, like, I know, like, fuck with me for me, like, it's still, like, the same between us.
It's important, I guess.
For sure.
To keep that as like, the one, or, like, those persons, that group of person that secures that you stay the way you are, or, like, your personality should be like when you're at home and when you're with your friends. But
definitely.
Tonight you'll be on stage in Berlin. What can people expect from the show? Like, what should they be prepared for?
My shows are crazy. Like my shows, performing is my favorite thing to do, and it's where I feel the most natural. Like I feel the most natural on stage than anything else that I do. So it's always fun. It's always a lot of me talking to the fans, like fan engagement, and just sick shit. A lot of sick shit. I perform for a while, and it's good.
It's a good cliffhanger.
It's a good time.
If you haven't known about this show tonight, will be a good opportunity tonight to see him perform live for the second time in Berlin, probably then.
Second time in Berlin, but like my first headlining show here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out the Sway Calloway freestyle, you should now to prepare for what happens next afterwards, because this is going to be probably very, very, very good. I'll be there too. So yeah, I thank you a lot for being here.
Of
I would have
course.
loved to have more time with you, but I also know that you have like a next phoner in the line and a lot of probably different stuff that's going on. Where are you going to head the next days?
Next show is in Frankfurt. And then we got the last one in Paris.
Have you been to Paris before?
I have, yeah.
But only when you sleep plane.
Yeah.
So no Eiffel Tower like...
No, I saw the Eiffel Tower. I did a show, actually, in Paris really early on. It was like one of the first shows I've done outside of my like area, because France was like on to me before a lot of other people. So I've been to France. I've done like 3 shows in France. So I love France. It's going to be sick.
I know. It's one of the crazy cities in the world, Paris. It's one of the most expensive ones too, but it has a very own vibe. It's really nice.
Definitely.
And is there like new music coming
Absolutely.
that we can announce already?
Nothing that we can announce specifically, but
not with a date, but like in the future.
A lot of. I got so much new music, and it's just really about picking what I feel like tells the story the best way. I'm just trying to tell a story through all my singles and really convey a message and just like tell the story of what I'm going through. And the next one is going to be something really special.
Okay, so that's everything you can say or anything you can say about it.
That's everything.
Okay, special. So thank you very much for being here.
Of course, appreciate you having me.
I hope everyone understood what we were talking about. He didn't, how to say that, he didn't talk quicker than he could have. Because we know from the songs he could have talked so quickly.
I could have made it really hard for them. but I'm a nice guy.
Thank you for that. Thank you for not overacting of whatever I had to. Before I start talking crazy shit in English, thank you for being here and have a great time in Berlin and a great show tonight.
Thank you.
Check his music. His name is Token. We were live here on G-Unit, and we have a last song remaining, Dirty Flash it's called. You can listen to it right now. Have fun. Viel Spaß. Bis bald.
G-Unit mit Tamara Güçlü. Die Ein-Frau-Crew am Nachmittag.